Everything matters. How we wake up, how we dress, how we eat, how we meet, how we train, how we practice, how we rehab, how we recover, how we treat one another, how we treat everyone.
Second half, that's our style. That's what we represent. Showing that fight, showing the urgency, showing the effort and the technique and the violence that we stand for, guys.
This is Jet Game Day with Robert Saleh. Here is your host, Eric Allen.
Welcome to Jets Game Day. Eric Allen here inside the studio with Bart Scott, the Mad Backer, and our big safety, Eric Coleman. It's seventh heaven, Bart, for the Jets. They have 7 wins entering today's game against the Minnesota Vikings. They are the AFC's 7th seed. If the season ended today, it doesn't. There are 6 games remaining. But here's the bottom line. The Jets are playing December football, and all these games have significant meaning.
Yeah, you talk about December football, that's when the cream rises to the top. Every game is pivotal. You can't let one get away. And this is the dash for the cash what we used to talk about, knowing that you get to play extra games, you get opportunities. And if you get in the tournament, you have a good chance just like everybody else.
What do you think about the Jets' next 2 games as they line up against the Vikings today, who are 9-2, and then next week they have a rematch against the Bills in Buffalo?
I think these are 2 very winnable games for the Jets. The way that they're playing defense, stopping the run, not allowing big plays, locking things down, and offensively they're running the football and moving the chains. If I'm the New York Jets, I'm confident against any opponent that I face, whether it's the Minnesota Vikings or the Buffalo Bills up in Buffalo.
Mad Backer, could this be a season-defining 2-week stretch for the Green and White?
Yes, this is about how bad do you want it, right? You have to go out on the road, which is difficult to win on the road, and you have to steal 2 games, right? You always give the home team +3. These are 2 opponents that have better records than the Jets, but the Jets are playing good football at the right time. And that's what it's all about. When you're going on the road, you got to pack your run game and your defense, and the Jets have both. And if you can take care of the football and make sure that, this is what I love about this time of year. When the weather gets bad, special teams are magnified, and the Jets have dedicated resources to making sure that they have quality special team play because the football does not travel as far as it used to, and you have to understand how to play in the elements. This is grown man, big boy football. No more of this basketball on turf stuff. We're going to make you play in this phone booth and beat you with a bag of nickels.
It is big boy football, but the Jets are going to be playing indoors today against the Minnesota Vikings. How impressed were you with the way the organization handled everything last week? Obviously, Mike White promoted to starter after starting the year as this team's number 3, then being elevated to number 2, and he gets the opportunity to take the reins.
I thought it was picture perfect. I thought Robert Saleh did a great job of managing the quarterback situation. It was a tough outing for everyone in New England, and to transition the way they did, giving Mike White the opportunity to come in and start against the Chicago Bears, I thought it was a great situation for this Jets team. Now, Mike White is a player who has a lot of confidence from his teammates and the coaching staff. He plays the right way, so it was great to see them come out, him play a good game, get the ball to 10 different receivers, and have an excellent showing against those Chicago Bears. I'm looking forward to him continuing with that momentum.
Coming up, we'll sit down with head coach Robert Saleh. But first, here's Cynthia Freeland with some big numbers on Mike White.
It's time for Maximum Altitude with Cynthia Freeland, presented by NFL All Day.
Quarterback Mike White was extremely productive in his season debut, passing for 315 yards and 3 touchdowns, helping the Jets earn their 7th win of the season, a decisive 31-10 victory over the Bears. In Week 12, White joined Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson as the only quarterbacks to have 300-plus passing yards, 3-plus passing touchdowns, and 140-plus passer ratings in a game in 2022. Next-gen stats showed that all 3 of White's passing touchdowns came on 10-plus air yard attempts. He was 5 of 6 for 155 yards on such passes. He was also 13 of 15 for 241 yards, and all 3 of those scores on passes with a time to throw of more than 2.5 seconds. Downfield passes typically take longer to develop, and the Jets had only 2 touchdowns on such passes prior to last week's game. White was also very proficient under pressure, going 4 for 4 for 107 yards and 2 of his touchdowns. These 2 touchdowns doubled the Jets' season total of passing touchdowns earned under pressure. The game plan created opportunities, and White executed well, as all 3 touchdowns came on plays to open receivers, which Next Gen Stats defines as having 3 or more yards of separation at the time the pass arrives. Play action was used on 41.4% of dropbacks, and White went 10 of 12 for 169 yards and a touchdown when using it. But maybe my favorite, and one of the more predictive stats that came from Week 12, was that White earned over 130 passing yards and at least one touchdown against both man and zone coverages. While it's worth noting that the Bears are banged up in their secondary, being able to diagnose and handle different defensive attacks is a key to success going forward. The Vikings sit atop the NFC North and could clinch the division with a win. But with Mike White under center, the Jets could easily make them wait at least another week, especially if White continues to handle pressure and create downfield opportunities.
Coming up, we have Coach Saleh wired for sound, and Eric sits down with him for an exclusive interview on today's matchup. Stay tuned.
Make some plays today, dog. Have fun today, bro. Get after it. Hey, bring some juice today, dog. Bring some juice. Something happen. Yes, sir. Let's go. Hey, Quan, I don't feel you, Quan. I don't feel you, Quan.
Takes the snap, drops back, looks right, throws back right corner of the end zone. Wide open!
Yeah! What is that? Why? No, holding on them. Let's go! Let's go, baby! Yeah!
Jets rush four, under pressure is Simeon, and he's sacked. Bryce Huff, untouched off the left edge.
Yeah, let's go! Attaboy, Bryce! Let's go, dog!
White takes the snap, four-man rush, looks left, dancing left, fires deep sideline left, at the goal line, it's caught, into the end zone, Elijah Moore, that's a Jet touchdown!
Hell yeah, dog! Great drive. There we go. Hey, there's still more meat on the bone. Hey, a lot more meat on the bone. This game ain't over. Let's go.
Handoff, Ty Johnson running left, breaks the tackle at the 30. He's at the 20 with a stiff arm at the 10, 5, into the end zone. Touchdown!
Today, that's how we run the ball, Mike. Yeah.
At the 10, Simeon throws one over the middle. Intercepted on a dive by C.J. Mosley.
Let's go! Let's go! Hey, man, that one counted. That one counted. Good job, dog. Good job.
One more possession.
Hey, we got one more possession. Let's no sloppy ball.
Now, time for Inside the Walls, presented by Microsoft Surface.
Mike White, it's been quite a year. What can you say about his journey just in 2022, starting out as a number 3, then being elevated to number 2, and then finally starting and leading your team to victory against the Bears?
Yeah, he's been great. Didn't start out as fast as he would have liked during a training camp, but he's continually worked, put his head down, and he's been working. And he's earned this opportunity, and it was great to see him take advantage of it.
In football terms, what makes CJ so special?
His football IQ. In the coaching profession, you get a lot of players who, that they want to get into coaching. And the first thing you hear within the first OTAs is, man, if I knew this when I was a player. And so CJ is as close to that as he's already at that point where it's like he thinks like a coach, sees it like a coach. And because of it, you have we can't run anymore, but he can. So you have a coach who can go run, and that's where those guys separate themselves, is if you can see the game like the teacher, if you will, and you have the athleticism to still go play, that's where you become dominant. And that's what we talk about. Football it's 3 phases of school. You've got 101, which is just the basics. You got 301, which is your fundamentals, and you got 501, which is understanding the opposite side of the ball, and he's pretty much on his doctorates.
What do you think about the matchup this week? You got your team, who leads the NFL in scoring differential in the fourth quarter at plus 51. You got the Vikings, who are second in fourth quarter scoring differential at plus 50. And they've won 8 one-possession games.
Yeah, they're very, very talented. They've got a veteran group. Just looking at them from an offensive standpoint, Kirk Cousins, Jefferson, Thielen, Delvin, and you got Hawkinson who just got there. They're very, very talented, well coached, defensively very veteran group. So they don't make mistakes in crunch time. They're very precise, they're very talented. And you can see why they're so darn good down the wire and why they're winning these close games.
You've raved about the decision-making of Kirk Cousins in the past. What's it been like going against him?
Super talented. He'll make you pay if you're off. He's a very quick decision maker, so you've got to be relentless in coverage. Find a way to make him hitch. If we can make him hitch and get home, that's your best chance. But if he can sit back there and bake a pizza, it's gonna be a long day.
After the break, we're back in the studio talking Jets football, and Brian Baldinger will break down the tape on the Vikings. Don't go away. Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by MetLife, the official insurance company of the New York Jets.
Welcome back to Jets Game Day. Eric Allen with Bart Scott and Eric Coleman. It is December, so we can look at the standings. Let's start in the AFC East. The Buffalo Bills atop the division. They secure a big-time road win on Thursday night against the Patriots.
Yeah, they did. And listen, that's one less thing to worry about. The Patriots drop, to 6-6. It gives the Jets an opportunity to be able to move up. The Miami Dolphins have a tough schedule going forward. You talk about going on the West Coast twice. They have to go face the San Francisco 49ers, who some think should be the front runner in NFC to win that league. But also they have to go back and play a very good offensive Chargers team as well. Then they have to go into the elements. We're going to see if the greatest show on turf has ice skates. If they can play in the elements, can they play with crosswind? Can they play when they can't air the ball out? Can they run the ball without Armstead? We don't know what his status is for the rest of the year, but he's their all-pro left tackle. And then you look at, the Jets. The Jets can take care of their own business, right? I'm going to say, it's not hyperbole, I believe the New York Jets, my New York Jets, will win the division. And I'm not just pulling that out of the air. That's not hot takey right there. They have a great opportunity.
Bart's talking money here. Let's look at the Jets' remaining six-pack here, Bart.
Well, absolutely. Listen, this is not a cakewalk, but you have an opportunity to take care of business. The Detroit Lions team plays very hard, but you have an opportunity. They should be the favorites. These are 3 games that they have to have. That gets them to 10. 10 could give you an opportunity to sneak in, but to make sure that you're feeling safe, they have to take care of business this week. This is a great opportunity. I understand what the record is for the Vikings and how they play, but they're a very vulnerable team. They're a team that you can get big plays on. They're also a team that you can run the ball on. And Kirk Cousins can be hit or miss, hot and cold at times. The road to 11 starts this week in Minnesota.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. This is a fascinating little 2-game stretch for the Jets because you host Detroit on Sunday and then come back on a Thursday night against Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. MetLife Stadium is going to be crazy.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely chaos. You have 2 very good offenses coming into town against the Jets defense who've been playing at the top of the league all season long. So I'm really looking forward to that matchup. That defense getting some stops, getting some opportunities. The Jets continuing to take care of the football and coming out with some victories at home.
All right. Etienne's in the shop, though.
Hey.
For more on today's matchup between the Jets and the Minnesota Vikings, here's Brian Baldinger.
This is Baldy's Breakdown.
Baldi here for Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh, and I want to concentrate on a key matchup here in this weekend's game against the Vikings. A big matchup in this game is going to be the Vikings' offensive line, how they protect Kirk Cousins, and the Jets' defensive front. Now, I'm keen here on Christian Darrisaw, number 71. He's their normal left tackle, and he's a good player. And when he's in the game, they get good protection. He got hurt in this Dallas game with a concussion. Got a concussion a week before, so he's been in concussion protocol. They're not the same offensive line without him. Blake Brandel is his backup at left tackle. And he's young, and he has struggled. Micah Parsons got his way with them in this game 2 weeks ago, once Darrisaw went out. And he got to Kirk Cousins. They didn't score a touchdown this game. So then you watch last week's game and watch how the Vikings slide to Matt Judon because he's the league's leading pass rusher right now. And so it leaves 1-on-1 on the backside, and Josh Uche beats Blake Brandel. Now, for the Jets, the guy who's going to get the first crack at either Darrisaw or Brandel is going to be Carl Lawson. Like, Carl Lawson's capable of winning. He's beating a good, big left tackle right there in Trent Brown, and he gets to Mac Jones for a sack. But also, sometimes you need a little help. Like, just watch the play that C.J. Mosley did last week. All right, he's got responsibility where he's at, but he's going to go up there just before the snap. Now, right in that A-gap, the right guard and right tackle have got to honor him. And they just, for one moment, step down, and it gets Bryce Huff free off the edge.
Fill up your cups. The morning tea is coming up next, followed by final thoughts on today's matchup with Minnesota.
All right, Ethan, let's jump right into it. Similar to how the Minnesota Vikings jump right into it. They have scored 49 points on opening drives this season, which is first in the NFL. And they have also scored 8.45 points per game in the fourth quarter, which is also first in the NFL. So they're starting fast and they're ending fast.
But this is a strength-on-strength matchup. The Vikings offense, the Jets defense, Caroline, 5th in the NFL, first in scoring since week 4, have not allowed an offensive touchdown in the second half in 5 games this year. Also haven't allowed a 300-yard passer in any game this season.
Pretty
so
good.
like I said, strength on strength. But let me tell you about this kind of like full circle moment here.
Okay.
The Jets traded Chris Herndon to the Vikings last summer for a 4th-round pick. Okay. Then the Jets signed Tyler Conklin, who was drafted by Minnesota in the offseason. Then the Vikings decide they need a tight end, so they then trade inside the division for TJ Hawkinson. So a lot of tight end movement here with the Jets and the Vikings specifically. And how about this? The 4th-round pick the Jets got, that was used on Michael Clemens.
That is pretty mind-blowing. That's kind of freaky how that all works out. But let me get to the important stuff. This Sunday is going to be My Cause, My Cleats, where different players are going to represent different causes and organizations on their cleats, and 6 Jets coaches will actually be honoring the Greg Knapp Memorial Fund, which is in honor of the late Coach Knapp, who joined the coaching staff last year and tragically passed away in the summer of 2021.
Look, this is one of the coolest things I think that the NFL has done. It's a rather new campaign compared to other ones, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the heat on the feet for the players and the coaches.
I love heat on the feet.
And I think that's the T.
That is.
This segment is brought to you by HCL Tech, supercharging progress.
Great tea as always with Caroline and Ethan. I'm so excited for today's ball game between the Jets and the Vikings. Bart, is Justin Jefferson the top receiver in the National Football League? And what about the matchup on the outside today with Thielen and Justin Jefferson against Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed?
Well, you know it's going to be Sauce and DJ Reed because, we don't flip left and right. The guys play left and right. So, I can see them moving Justin Jefferson around, and I think Michael Carter even get a little love, there against Justin Jefferson as well. To answer your original question, is he the best receiver in the league? I believe so. I think he's playing with a lot of confidence. He came into this league with a lot of confidence, and he's doing things that only Randy Moss and the greats have done. But with that being said, there are opportunities to be able, because Kirk Cousins trusts him, he's going to give him the 50-50 balls. So far that he's been getting the 50-50 balls, but this is the perfect time with Sauce's length, with DJ's, tenacity, ability to get inside of, receivers to be able to get opportunity, tip balls, change games, and, interceptions, and Kirk Cousins can be had.
The Jets have to get the head of the snake. That's Kirk Cousins. But is this skill position group the Vikings have with Dalvin Cook, TJ Hawkinson, and those receivers the best in the league? And what do you think about the Jets and the potential to dominate in the trenches?
Yeah, this is a very tough matchup for any team offensively. When you look at the Minnesota Vikings, Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen at the wide receiver position are one of the best duos that you're going to find in the league. And TJ Hawkinson, coming over from Detroit, was a big addition for this Minnesota Vikings offense. He keeps the chains moving. He creates big plays in the middle of the field. And Dalvin Cook is a mismatch for any linebacker running in between the tackles, or whether he's out in the flats running those routes. So it's going to be a tough matchup, but I like what I see with the Jets defense, with their ability to get to the quarterback. Carl Lawson, all the great pass rushers for the Jets are going to have to be on point today to get after the Minnesota Vikings.
Bart, I like the matchup for the Jets offense going against the Vikings defense. It's given up a lot of yards, a lot of points. Mike White making his second start, and the Jets think they have somebody special themselves at the receiver position. And Garrett Wilson, we saw Elijah Moore get going last week, and Tyler Conklin going back home to Minnesota.
Yeah, there's not a lot of tape on Mike White, so they don't know really what to expect. Mike White had a tremendous game in the elements last week. He got the ball out of his hand really fast. It looks like they may try and probably challenge the receivers at the line of scrimmage to throw the timing off. Those are opportunities for big plays. The Jets have to make sure that they establish the run. They had tremendous balance last week with Bam and Ty Johnson as well. So it's going to be a great opportunity for them to kind of loosen that secondary up.
This, perhaps, is the game of the day in the National Football League. The Jets, the Minnesota Vikings, the green and white going for win number 8. For Bart and Eric, enjoy your football Sunday.